Welcome to the RotoWire Week 16 Fantasy Football Semifinal Week. Start, sit, show. Excited for those who are here. Those who are in the fantasy playoffs. Good luck. Hopefully, you can bring a win home and get yourself to the championship game next week. Already have a few games in the books here, obviously. The important Rams Seahawks game, and then obviously Philly played yesterday, Commanders, Bears, Packers. So some people already kind of know their fate a little bit. So that's a real important part to look at here. But yeah, a lot of fates. Some of you may be in a point where you played Puka and you need massive upside. So we'll frame those through, ask the questions. Remember to use first and last names when you're putting a player in, unless it's an obvious one. Anybody that might have a possible name that's a common name. Jones, Jackson, Johnson, always put a first name. All right, John, starting out with John here. T is not out. T is playing, so you are completely set. He cleared concussion protocol. Great news for the Bengals. If you did have to play another one, I would have taken probably a shot on Kayshon Boutte, although the problem splitting targets with Mac Hollins has not been optimal. But I do think you have no issue with T. Higgins, who should go off in this contest against Miami. Master J3, Chiefs D or the Saints D. Look, this Chiefs are without Leo Chenal. They're without Derek Nottie. I don't see Chris Jones getting up for this game. We've seen in the past when Chris Jones doesn't have to be a major factor. We've seen him dog it against the run. I just don't think the Chiefs show up here. I know the Chiefs have, in theory, a great matchup. I just would not trust them coming out with anything in this game. The Saints D, look, they're playing well. They're playing the Jets. Brady Cook's the quarterback. Saints D for me. All right. Now, next one, we got Worthy, Pittman, or Keenan Allen. I do like Pittman here. Last week's game plan, I expected that against Seattle, Phillip Rivers was already going to plan to get the ball out super, super fast because of the Seattle defense. This week, not the same problem. San Francisco does not get much of a pass rush. They're not great in coverage. This is a very workable matchup for an underneath receiver like Pittman. Worthy, I don't know how they're going to use him. If they're going to use him to clear out the field, then he's going to be useless. If they decide to scheme him up the ball in the short and intermediate area, you could get some big plays here. I think your biggest upside, so you said most upside, I think Worthy actually does have the most upside because if they get him on a couple slants against that bad Tennessee secondary, I could see some big plays. Then you did say your heart says Allen, but he hasn't been just getting enough targets. Your head says Worthy. So yeah, again, I think Worthy's your best upside play, so I would recommend that for that reason. All right, Kevin, you need 3 half PPR: Higgins, Montgomery, Pollard, Brian Thomas, Franklin, Juwan Johnson, or Schultz. So you need 3. Higgins is any clear concussion protocol, cannot sit him. He's in line for potentially a big game here. Pollard, even 3 games ago, he went 10 for 60. He's been playing well. Like I just said for the question of the people with the Kansas City defense, their defense has massive injuries. Chenal out, Nadi out. I don't think we're going to see a lot of effort out of Chris Jones in a game that means nothing. So I think Tony Pollard is a very live play here. I don't like Franklin because Pat Bryant's back, and Pat Bryant was playing over 70% of the snaps and eating up the targets. Franklin has clearly been relegated to the number 3 role, so he might be back to a 3-target game. Brian Thomas Jr. is interesting because we don't know what Denver will do. Will Denver play sides with Surtain? Will they shadow one receiver or the other? We don't know that. But I still think Thomas has a couple good games in a row. And I do think Montgomery is prey for a touchdown. Montgomery's in a decent spot. I think Montgomery actually, though he's getting 6 to 8 carries a game, Montgomery is your floor play, and he scored, I believe, in 3 straight. He's found the end zone a lot recently. So Monty, and this is a matchup that's not bad. So I think Monty is safe, but I think that Thomas has the potential to get your half PPR though. I'm going to go Monty over Brian Thomas. If your gut says Brian Thomas, I get it. I just don't know how much Denver's going to give up through the air here. Tight end, Juwan Johnson or Schultz. With Devon Vele, the receiver, out, Johnson potentially could get more targets. But we also saw a game where Tampa Bay played the Saints, and the Saints got a lead, and they only threw 20 passes. And so I think Schultz, even though they're probably going to lead the Raiders, I think Schultz is a safer floor. And I don't know that neither has the level of upside that beats one for the other. So I think Schultz actually has a bit more upside, a bit more floor, pardon me. Master J, Throud or Lamar, 4-point throwing. You know what? If your lean is Stroud, I get it. Jackson, he's getting a little healthier each week, but he really hasn't done it for fantasy. Stroud, I put a quarterback 9 of the remaining quarterbacks, but again, I do think that they're going to get that passing game on track. I think you go with your gut here. Lamar has not been the difference maker you wanted. As long as Stroud doesn't see a pass rush, which I know Max Crosby's there, but the Raiders have not done a consistent pass rush. So I think your gut call makes sense that you go with Stroud. Lamar has not had Lamar games. And so that said, especially if you're close or a favorite, playing Stroud makes sense. I do think Lamar could have a game here, but again, Stroud also could. So yeah, I go with your gut there. Vinny, happy holidays to you as well. You need to. Fannin, Jawan Johnson, or Coker. Fannin, look, Fannin probably gets you 7 or 8 short catches here in this game. I moved him up to tight end 4. Buffalo used to be a tight end eraser. Matt Milano, he's unfortunately injuries. They get taking a toll on the young man, and he just doesn't cover like he used to. So Fannin's in a nice little spot here, and they use him creatively too. He's kind of like more of an H-back than a tight end. So Fannon's in great shape here. Jawan Johnson or Coker, you just heard me talk about Jawan Johnson. It's one of those things where if they don't have to throw, they like shuck through 20 times against Tampa. That's in play against the Jets here. So Coker's been hot the last 3 games, and Coker's actually getting more work than Ted McMillan. And Bryce Young's had a connection with Coker since last year. So, I almost would say Coker, Tampa Bay hasn't been like a world beater. So there's that as well. All right, let's see. We got super chat. And I can come back. Let me see where I left off. I don't know if Vinny. Okay, I could do that there. Play Coker or wait for Woody Marks. So you guys know the deal with Woody Marks. It's that, if he gets a touchdown, he's in great shape. If he doesn't, he normally gets you a low fantasy game. But I think the injury is interesting because we don't know how healthy he is, how much they're going to give extra work to Nick Chubb, Jar Jordan. And so I think Coker's been a bit stable, as stable as you could be with a quarterback that throws less than 200 yards in almost every game. So I think that you look at it and you say Coker's a little safer. Woody Marks, if he's dinged up or if he has a setback, it's a bit of an issue. But Marks is expected to play. But if Houston gets a lead, which they probably do against the Raiders, do they pull Marks early? So I just think I would go with Coker and call it a day because of the uncertainty, which you really don't want that uncertainty in your fantasy championship game. All right, let's see where we're at next here. I went through there. Hold on, let me make sure I got these here. All right, here we go. Next question: Sutton, Judkins, or Aaron Jones? Sutton he's at least getting some target share back. Judkins always worries me. Super talented. Now, the thing with Buffalo is Buffalo's identity is they play base defensive nickel and they don't really worry about the run. And they say that we're not going to let the pass beat us. But from a game plan perspective, do they really come in and say we're worried about Shador Sanders and those receivers? My answer is no. So they probably do go against their tendencies and put an extra body in the box, knowing Sanders can't beat them. So Judkins is a boomer bust play. Aaron Jones, that's always up in the air because now Mason is, recouping some of that work right now. The running part is a good matchup. I don't know how much they're going to throw to their running back in this one. So I would say Sutton is your safe play. And I think he has a nice, stable floor. If you have to swing for boom or bust because you have to have a big game, then we hope that Buffalo plays their nickel and Judkins gets opportunity. But otherwise, it'd be Sutton for me. Need one in a PPR: Monty, Pollard, Waddle, Diggs, or Franklin. For me, it's between Pollard and Waddle. You heard me answer the other questions before. I think the Chiefs defense missing 3 players, and I think lack of motivation. I think it's an issue. So I think Pollard's a strong play this week. Waddle is also a very good play. I put Waddle as my wide receiver 13 with the downside tag. We don't know what we're getting from viewers, but I don't know how the offense is that much different. I mean, 2 is terrible, and they had to manage him, get the ball out quick, throw it short. Viewers could do that. A lot of quarterbacks could do that. So it's between Pollard and Waddle for me. Now, there's a great chance that Cincinnati scores a lot of points. So Miami has to get their foot on the gas. So Waddle has a lot of ranges of outcomes, and they're all very good. And so, I think he's going to have a solid game. So at the end of the day, I guess now that I rethink it over, maybe Waddle is your way to go. Maybe Waddle's your way to go. Pollard's close. I like Pollard too. I like them both. I got Pollard though. I got him down at running back 16 is highest. I've had him all year. But Waddle, again, they're playing Cincinnati. I know they have good outside corners, but they run him on a lot of crossers. So yeah, I maybe at the end of the day, I think Waddle will be my call. I like Pollard too, though. If you have a gut feel on that, definitely go with your gut. Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Pittman, Godwin. You need two. I never sit Drake London ever, and I always have him ranked as a top receiver. I ranked him low at wide receiver 7 this week, but that's you probably should. I probably should consider moving him up all the way to 5. But yeah, Drake London's an auto start. He's the target king and gets the red zone work. Pitts great last 3 weeks when London wasn't around, but with London back, those targets got to go from 10 to 5. I have to think. I could be wrong, but I can't see them going away from Drake London, who is their Superman with Bijan. So I'd go with him. And then your second one, I don't know. I'd leverage both of the Atlanta players in this game. It's possible, but putting your eggs in one basket, if the game goes south, then you take a double hit, and I always worry about that. And Atlanta's far from guaranteed production. For the second one, I think Pittman does have a good floor in this one. Again, then not much of a pass rush from San Francisco. The corner play isn't great. Rivers is a different matchup for him. So, again, I tell everybody this. Week 16, a lot of these are close calls. If you got a gut call, trust it. You don't want to go down, knowing that in your gut that was the one that's going to work. You said you're down 60, 45 chances to win. Yeah, I still think those are the plays, even with because I just can't start Justin Jefferson right now. It's just it's like less than 6 fantasy points in 3 games. So, but if your gut says it, roll with it. Next one, Shane. Good morning, happy holidays to you as well. Full PPR, need a running back and a flex out of Warren, Stevenson, Marks, and Estime. All right, so all of these players are in potential timeshares. Warren, with Kenny Gainwell's getting right around exactly 50-50 on the snaps for that one. And Gainwell's been more utilized as a receiver. I got Gainwell at 21 and Warren at 24 at running back. Stevenson does have some potential against Baltimore, but again, he's going to be the secondary back there. Woody Marks, I'm worried about the ankle. Estime, I'm very nervous about Estime. He caught 3 passes last week. That's weird because he's not a pass catcher. And Evan Hull, who's on the roster, was drafted by the Colts to be a pass catcher. So I think with a week of game planning, knowing they don't have Devin Neal, my guess is they probably put Hull where he belongs. And here's the problem with Estime. I'm very worried with game planning that Taysom Hill gets 6 or 7 carries. So I would go Warren and Stevenson because I'm still concerned about Mark's injury. I'm concerned that if Houston gets a lead on this one, that they're going to use their other backs. If he's not 100%, they wouldn't need to risk him here. Houston needs to be thinking long term. That's what I would say on that. Dollar bill, Warren, Judkins, Ibuka, Michael Carter, Knox, and Estime need 2 full PPR tight end premium. Still not enough to trust Knox, and I know he got a good number of looks last week. Cleveland is typically good against tight ends, not the best place to attack them. So that said, in Ibuka, we know that there's 4-man rotation at receiver. Michael Carter DeMarc Carter only touched the ball a couple times last week. Now that could change, but I think right now you got to give Carter a bit of an edge. The only knowledge we have to go on is that Carter is their lead back, and I think you got to go with the lead back here. For the second one, Judkins is interesting because, like I said earlier, if the Bills go with their standard defense, that means they're not gonna really focus on taking out the running game, but they certainly could plan the game around that. I need to take that upside tag off of Estime that I have there. I need to take that off. That doesn't belong there. So I got Warren at 24, and I've got Judkins up at 19. I still think Judkins gets more volume than Warren. Ibuka it's a tough call because Evans is going to get the targets and Godwin's coming on. So I'd go with Carter and Judkins for that one if that was my lineup. All right, let's see what we got here. Henry, would I play Pitts over Bowers? Again, Pitts 3 wonderful weeks, about 10 targets a game, all with no Drake London. Now Drake London's back. In my mind, there's no way they're saying, "Oh, well, let's forget Drake London. We got Kyle Pitts." That's in my mind, that's not even a potential question, but I could be wrong. My thing is Drake London is a target hog, and he's been since he took over that lead role in the middle of last year, and I don't see it going away. So I think Bowers is at a floor. Bowers had like 4 catches. I think he's over 40, 50 yards in 4 of his last 5. It sounds about right. There could be garbage time, and they're going to leave him in. So I know Pitts has been hot, and if your gut says it, trust it, but I would play Bowers. And then Jones or Gainwell, I assume that's Aaron Jones. When I see Jones, my mind just goes in a million places. Remember, I always use first and last names. That might be obvious to you, but when you're fielding questions, it's not always that way. If it's Aaron Jones we're looking at, I got Jones at 20 and I got Gainwell at 21. As you can see, they are right next to each other. But I think so. All that said, Jones has the better matchup. Gainwell probably gets more targets. So I think again, it's a coin flip. I think the catches for Gainwell are pretty bankable. It's been 6+ catches, I believe, in 5 of 6 games. I think Gainwell's a little bit safer. I think Jones has a little more upside because Jones could get a couple big runs in this game. So it's a coin flip on that. Jones is ranked higher, but if you want stability, I think Gainwell's more stable. All right, let's see what we got here. Alex, Quentin Johnson. Here's the problem. Since the offensive line injuries hit the Chargers, they're not developing the downfield plays because they can't get Herbert hit. And Herbert's got a left broken hand. And so they can't put him in harm's way. And so that means those routes that Johnson likes, a lot of those routes have been taken away. So now there are sometimes they get him the ball on slants and underneath. That's not common, but they do that. And in that scenario, Johnson would have an impact. But based on his typical role, no, he wouldn't have an impact because Dallas can get a pass rush. That's one of the few things they can do defensively. And I think that they want to keep Justin Herbert out of that mix. Because remember, they got their sights set on a playoff run. All right, next one. Somebody had a guy has a Chiefs or 49ers defense. You know what? That's a tough one because, again, I said the Chiefs are down 3 starters. I think their motivation is done. But San Francisco is playing Indianapolis, and I think Jonathan Taylor is going to have a day. So ultimately, and Rivers, that interception he threw was at the end of that game when they had to just throw it up because they were trailing with a half a minute left. I don't think Rivers is going to make poor decisions. So ultimately, I don't like either, but I would go with the Chiefs because at least Tennessee is Tennessee. But I don't like either. But Chiefs would get a slight edge. You might have something on your waiver wire that's better, but maybe not. John, tight end premium, Juwan Johnson or Hunter Henry? Yeah, Hunter Henry is really kind of devolved in the passing attack. They run when they can, and Mac Hollins drew on 8 targets last week. Beautiful. Everybody loved that, right? So Juwan Johnson, here's the thing. With Devon Vele out, and I said earlier, I do have concerns that when we saw New Orleans beating the Saints, they threw 20 times. So that limited the pie for everybody. But I think with Devon Vele, the receiver, out, Juwan Johnson is kind of number 2 in the pecking order. So I like Juwan Johnson better. RC Baller, CJ Stroud, Aaron Rodgers, or Justin Herbert. You had Mahomes. All right. Let's see. All right. So like Stroud again, it's a very nice matchup. I have him at quarterback 9. Herbert right behind him at 10. Dallas can get pressure. Of course, their secondary is terrible. But also, if they can get success, Los Angeles on the ground, they're going to do that. They got to keep Herbert safe here, but Herbert's still running, which is crazy. So though Herbert and Stroud are very close. Aaron Rodgers, I had him at 16. This game could shoot out. He could have real upside here. Couple of safeties out for the Lions. Rodgers, if your gut says Rodgers, it is a legitimate upside shot. I think Stroud gets enough done early against the Raiders to put you in a good spot. Again, Herbert is super, super close. And I do have Stroud ahead, though, because when Stroud doesn't get pressured, he really can take time to get the ball to Nico Collins and to a lesser degree, Jaden Higgins and Dalton Schultz. So I do like him by a slight margin. Nancy's next, full PPR, Lawrence or Brissett. You guys are going to laugh, but I've got Brissett as my quarterback, 2 of the remaining quarterbacks on the board. And I don't even think that ranking is bad. Brissett's played 9 games, and he's had some really tough matchups. Brissett has at least 22 fantasy points in every one of those games. And now he's playing Atlanta. Doesn't sound like a bad matchup to me. You got McBride, you got Wilson, you got Harrison, and they don't have a great running game. So Brissett just gets it done every single week. And I just, to predict he's not going to do it against Atlanta in a home game for Arizona, I just see it rolling. Trevor Lawrence, remember, he had a beautiful week last week. He's had some big performances. He has 5 games with around 18 or fewer fantasy points. So he has been very up and down. And playing Denver, again, Lawrence is getting fantasy production and you love it, but I just don't think against a good defense, the probability of him doing well is there. So that is a concern. All right, we'll come back to Pedro after I get a super chat question. I got Scott here. Am I worried about? I don't. I think they waited till he was 100% healthy to bring him back. They were out of the playoff race. If he at this point, if he wasn't healthy, I don't think they would. No, I expect London to get whatever his typical work would be. I know Cousins is the quarterback. It's not Michael Penix, but I mean, I expect London to get as usual right around 10 targets, and I don't expect that to change. So all that said, I think I would not worry. I have London. I don't have any downside tag on him. I put him at wide receiver 7, but I just think he's right back in and where he was. Pedro, New York City, huh? Sitting Dak with Lamb as a potential stack for Herbert. Can you go with Shuck or McCarthy over Herbert as well? So the only concern for Shuck and why I have him ranked a little bit lower at quarterback 15, and he's been great, is I just keep going back to that Tampa game. When they had a lead on Tampa, Shuck only threw 20 times. And I know their running backs stink, but I think at the end of the day, they will play conservative. They have a lead, and I think there's a good chance they lead the Jets here. So Shuck has upside because if they decide to just let him throw, now you're looking at maybe a 3 touchdown game, 20 yards rushing. It's possible. But based on what I saw from their coaching staff, the probability lowers. McCarthy, it's a tight wire. I put him at quarterback 20. You can run on the Giants. And I think that's what Kevin O'Connell wants to do. So if the running game gets going, then I think they're not going to be inclined to pass a lot here. So, that's it. Um, so that said, Shuck does have upside. McCarthy, I'd be really nervous about. Herbert, I do have up there at quarterback 10. I do think that he gets enough done here. I think McConkey finally has a good game. If that answer, and then wherever you have a Dak in there, I don't know what the Dak part of the question is, but for those asking about the Dallas offense here, I'm not worried about Dallas offense. I think they're going to be loose because now they've been eliminated from playoff contention. They come out looser, and the other thing is the Chargers. You look at their numbers. Oh my gosh, they're so good against the pass. Look, this is the same as last year. When the Chargers play high level weapons, they do not have the defensive personnel to deal with that. They have nobody to deal with CD Lamb. They have nobody to deal with George Pickens. They play a nice zone, so they might limit some over the top shots to Pickens. That's possible. But if they get Pickens on other routes than just go balls, the talent of the Dallas receivers is so much more than Los Angeles Chargers. I want everybody to know that out there. Sometimes you look at fantasy numbers, and the numbers people out there are great, but the styles make the fights a lot of times. And again, that defense is good when they're playing limited opponents. ETW, Bowers or Pitts, and yeah, somebody had that same question earlier. Right off the top, I assume those 10 targets a game, Pitts are chopped to 5 with Drake London. That offense is about Bijan, and it's about Drake London. And when London was out, Kyle Pitts took over. Bowers has a great floor. I think that there's a great chance that the Texans get a big lead. I think as a result, that means at some point in the second half, they back off. I don't think the Raiders pull starters in that scenario. So I think Bowers is a very good play. Burrow or May, you know what? They're playing Miami, and T. Higgins is back. And I know Burrow, whatever, he's been frustrated, whatnot. It was a bold call. I said Burrow throws for 404 touchdowns. That's a bold call. He's not going to throw for 404 touchdowns. But the point is that Joe Burrow has a big game. But I have May right behind him at quarterback 5. May has a lot of outs. But I think the biggest benefit for Burrow in this is that Miami doesn't have the level of pass rush that's going to make him uncomfortable. Miami's corners, I don't know how in the world they deal with Chase and Higgins. So I had them very close in the rankings, meaning it is coin flip. But if it's my lineup, and even though Burrow, it's been a little bit depressing, I would go with Burrow here. William, good morning. Need a wide receiver and a flex. Worthy, Jefferson, Judkins, Jordan Mason, Kelsey, touchdown heavy with yardage, wide receiver, and a flex. So Justin Jefferson's really hard to start. Worthy, we don't know if they're going to use him in more of a short area slant route role or they're going to have him clear out space. Kelsey certainly is going to see some targets here with down to third string tackles on both sides for the Chiefs. It's going to be paramount that Minshew get the ball out. And so I do like Kelsey here. I almost would be nervous to go with 2 Chiefs. I think Worthy is the second best play because I do think they have to like change his role up. With no Rashi Rice, remember last year, Worthy played the Rice role and he did really well in it. So those would be my 2 choices. But if you don't want to over invest in the Chiefs, Judkins, like I said, I'm hopeful. I don't know that Buffalo goes with their base defense, which is not worrying about the run, and they kind of sit back and just make sure they don't get beat through the air. And in that case, Judkins, my running back 19, does have potential for volume. But the best 2 plays are Worthy and Kelsey. All right, next one, Von Avery. Would I play the Vikings? Yeah, I would play the Vikings over them. Jackson Dart's always a wild card, right? But the Vikings are going. They're that defense. They throw all the confusing looks, and some teams that have played them over the years, they've kind of getting used to that. That's not the Giants, and Jackson Dart could be tricked into numerous mistakes here. It's gonna be one of those games when Van Ginkel gets a pick 6. So yeah, I would play the Vikings here. Again, these defenses are always volatile. You never know. You could have the best defense against the worst offense and they get 2 points. It happens all the time. But probability wise, I think the Vikings do have a formula that gives them a chance here. Delroy, full PPR start to Shimmeray, DK, Jaden Higgins, Tony Pollard, Stevenson, and Troy Franklin. Again, with Pat Bryant back, Troy Franklin is back to that minor role. Franklin was like eating snaps up, They had 13 targets in the prior 2 games. Franklin's not a factor much really when we have Pat Bryant in the lineup. Tony Pollard's in for me. You heard me mention earlier, if you've been listening, the Chiefs are down a few defenders. I just don't see Chris Jones playing his A game here. Love Tony Pollard. Jaden Higgins is in a decent spot here against really weak corners for the Raiders. I know that there could be a lead and they may not have to throw a ton, but I think they have to throw enough. And I think there's a game where Higgins gets going. Higgins had a 65-yard game with Stroud a few weeks ago. I think this is a game where they can get him going as well, too. Those are the 2 I like. Stevenson's close. DK is always an interesting play. DK always has the ability to score a touchdown or make a big play. Kansas City is down Trent McDuffie, so that certainly helps as well. But I still would go. I think Higgins is going to have a little more bankable role here. I have a super chat before I come back to Pedro. All right, it looks like I answered that already. Weird. That's weird. It looks like I answered it. Maybe I did. Maybe I asked it twice. We'll see. All right. Scott, non-PPR, Metcalf, Wandale, Pickens, and Myers. So Pickens has had 2 rough games. I do think the pressure's off Dallas. And Pickens is not just a go route guy. He's got 1,200 yards on the season, right? 2 bad games, but he's gotten targets. The Chargers have no corners that could deal with him. I'm going to go back to Pickens here. And Metcalf could not have a better matchup. And I think the thing is, their best corner is DJ Reed, but he's 5'9". Good luck with that if you're guarding Metcalf. Their tallest corner is Rocky Sin, but he's terrible. And both of their safeties, who are amazing, are both gone. They're both on IR. So I don't even know what to do bracketing them. I'm going Metcalf and Pickens here. Myers, love Myers, been great. But I think both Pickens and Metcalf should be in a great spot. Myers could see some snaps on Surtain, which could limit him. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I think that uncertainty makes it, not to bother with it. And Wandale always has potential. But if this game is low scoring and that's also in the range of outcomes, Metcalf and Pickens for me. All right, see where I'm at. So, Pedro, you asked that whether I answered it. Oh, I think, Pedro, you spammed me. Pedro, you can't ask the question 7 times. It doesn't work. All right, let's see here. Getting me confused. I'm looking through my stream here. All right. Sarah, hello. PPR flex, Jalen Warren or Worthy? Go Bears. Oh my gosh, did they pull off the improbable victory last night? 8% chance to recover an onside kick, and they did. I posted on my X last night at Jim Coventry NFL that I remember Brandon Bostic, the botched fumble on the onside kick against Seattle in the playoffs many years ago, came right back to my mind. Anyway, Worthy or Warren? I'm actually, the more I'm thinking this through today, and I probably need to move Worthy. Worthy's always low in my rankings, but I have the upside tag at 31. I probably, as I'm thinking this through more and more, I said earlier, last year, Worthy took on the Rice role and Rice was out. If Worthy takes on the Rice role in this game, he probably should be around. I'm going to move up the wide receiver 21 right now. Let's just get this done and get it out of the way. We're going to get him right now to wide receiver 21. Worthy does belong up there. I do think they're going to get him on more short area stuff, which is much better for fantasy production. So we are going to put him at 21 with upside. And I think I'm going to fully recommend Xavier Worthy on that one. I'm glad you guys asked those Worthy questions because that was one, the contingencies. Sometimes the questions bring out the contingencies, and I didn't think that one through enough. Kavan, ETN, Dowdle, and Hampton. So ETN has a bad matchup, but ETN gets a ton of volume. We saw him score 3 touchdowns as a receiver last week. So I just think ETN's bankable volume makes him really tough to start. That leaves us with Dowdle and Hampton. Now, Dowdle is the lead back, and the Tampa Bay defense has not played as well against the run lately. And that said, I do believe that's still a hot hand backfield. And if Dowdle starts out slow and Hubbard plays well, or if Tampa gets a lead, Hubbard, I think, is the more preferred passing down back and hurry up. So I'm going to go with Hampton. I'm going to go with Hampton and ETN. If your gut says Dowdle, I get it. And you could bench ETN because ETN has not always had great games. But I think and with no Bashal Tootin, not that Tootin saw many touches. And I don't think LaQuint Allen is really going to chop in. But I think that ETN is looking at 20 touches, and that makes it really hard to sit in fantasy. Myers or Mims, I got to go with Myers, even if the Broncos decided to put Surtain on him. I still think Myers catches passes in the middle of the field, and that's where Trevor Lawrence is at his best. He's a big part of that offense. Jacoby Myers, love him. I think he's, and where I'm ranked here. Can't have him ranked poorly at all. Wide receiver 16. So I definitely love Jacoby Myers. All right. Elliott, full PPR, need 2. Jennings, Pickens, Hampton. So you need 2. And you heard me talk earlier about Pickens. I know he's had 2 bad games. And I know you're very nervous about putting him in a lineup. And I get it. And you're worried about body language stuff. And because Pickens had that reputation in Pittsburgh. Pressure's kind of off Dallas. Season's over, but I think that means they breathe looser. And I do think that the Chargers have nobody who could deal with him. So I will go with Pickens. Between Hampton and Jennings, I do like Jennings here. Even if Sauce Gardner ends up playing, which I don't know the final report on him, Jennings is used on schemed up plays. And I think this is a good matchup for him. I think he's going to be very, very involved in this game. So Hampton's close. Hampton is really close with Jennings. But I would go with Jennings and Pickens in this scenario. If your gut says Hampton, play him over Jennings. Because Hampton does have ability to do damage. He's a very good running back. In the matchup against Dallas, do we have, I don't even know if we have certainty on whether Quinnen Williams is playing or not. Let's see if we have anything on that. Looks like we'll be waiting for the inactives to come out soon here. So that'll come up soon enough. Do want to check one more thing, and that question is about Hampton, right? It's at Dallas, so I think we have an early window game. Let me just double check the time on that game too to see if we have an early window game there or not. Yeah, Dallas is in the early window. So I'll tell you this. If Quinnen Williams is out, which I think he's going to play, if Quinnen Williams is out, then I think you end up going with Hampton over Jennings. But if Quinnen Williams plays, then it's going to be Jennings and Pickens. All right, let's see what we got here. We got Matt, Aaron Rodgers, or Lamar. I know Lamar hasn't been great, but I almost put this in like too cute range because Lamar is looking better each week. And I am not worried in the slightest about New England's defense. New England's a nice defense. They got some nice players. Spillane's going to be out. That's going to hurt them. Milton Williams is out. That hurts them. But I don't see New England against a decent offense doing much to slow them down. And I think Lamar is fine here. And look, the Ravens really, really need to compete here. So I have Jackson at quarterback 3 and Aaron Rodgers at 16. You could take your shot. Rodgers could Rodgers could get in a shootout, and Rodgers could have a huge game. He could do it. Probability, I can't do it. London or Estime. Well, if we're not Drake London, I have as my wide receiver 7, and I think that's conservative. So Estime played 30. He played 4% more snaps than Evan Hull last week. Juwan Johnson or Schultz, I think Schultz has a little safer floor. I keep pointing out that when the Saints had a lead against the Bucks, they only threw the ball 20 times. If that happens, that hurts Johnson. Now, Schultz may be in a similar boat where they don't have to throw a lot, but he has been a big part of the target share there, and Stroud does like going his way in the red zone. So I think Schultz gets a slight edge. Trust your gut on that one. Oh, I had another super chat before I come back to Shookson. All right. All right, let's see what we got here. I got two of them here, two super chat, both from Thomas. Started Swift over Hall, and you know what? You may end up actually having more points that way because Hall just not his fault. They just don't know how to use him, and Brady Cook, a quarterback, kills him. Hall or Henderson? I think you got it. Oh, Quentin Johnston's playing for those who need him. Tua is the emergency third quarterback from Ian Rappaport. You got to go with Henderson here. Brees Hall teams are just loading up the box and saying, all right, well, Brady Cook can't beat us, so Brees Hall won't beat us. So I think it's that simple. I have Henderson by running back 12. There again, Baltimore has a great name value on the defense. They can be had, and it's not all that difficult. And I know Will Campbell left tackles out. Henderson, I think, is in a great spot this week. Aaron Jones or Michael Carter? That's a great question, too. I have Carter at 25. I have Aaron Jones at 20. But the more I think this one, at half PPR, that really does lend to Aaron Jones, though, because Carter counts on pass catching. And I don't know what DeMarcado's role is going to be. I think that's a fly in the ointment. DeMarcado only had a couple touches coming back from an injury last week. I have to think DeMarcado is significantly more involved. He's actually a good running back. He's a big play machine. I'm going to go with Aaron Jones here. The matchup is great. I do think Minnesota plays with a lead. I think both running backs are relevant in this game, and I think that's the path. All right, let's see where we're at. Go to live questions. And that was right around here. All right, Shookson. Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening. It's XM. Oh, by the way, everybody, I will be subbing in on XM, Channel 87 Fantasy Sports Radio, tomorrow, Monday, from noon to 2 Eastern. And then again on Christmas Eve, Wednesday, I'll be noon to 2 Eastern. So I'll be on XM Monday and Wednesday in the daily RotoWire time slot. Love to have you join in and listen to the show. All right. So, Shookson, what we got here? Guillotine, PPR, tight end, premium start 2. JMO, Lamb, Wilson, Pitts, Collins. Wow, that's you are in a good spot to have those decisions. I it's really hard to sit JMO, and the biggest reason is no TJ Watt, no Nick Herbig. That pass rush is not going to be what a Pittsburgh pass rush is, which means more time for Jared Goff, and means Jared Goff's going to be able to develop the downfield game when they need to. So and JMO's really hard to sit now. Lamb is also hard to sit. Again, people will look at the numbers of the Chargers defense and say, oh, no, it's a shutdown. No, it's not. When you have good receivers against them, the good receivers will win every time because they are talent. I don't want to say talent deficient, but they are compared to the likes of a CD Lamb. Very hard to sit those two. Now, I get it with Pitts. Oh, you got Collins in there too. Good Lord. You got a good Pete gets a guillotine league for sure. Collins is hard to sit though, too. Collins should get damage done in the first half before they probably blow out the Raiders, but Collins could easily get 100 yards and a touchdown. So, and Pitts, I think his targets get chopped from 10 to 5 because London's back. Wilson has been insane. Now, the game he played with Harrison, they both had 7 targets. Harrison left early. I don't know what to make of it. So now we think this through. I'm going to go with Lamb, and I'm going to go with Collins. And you see where I got them. I got them 3, 4, and 5. They're 3, 4, and 5 of my remaining receivers. So that's a good problem to have. The guillotine leagues, got to love those. All right, Terminal Sarcasm, good morning. Appreciate you. PPR, Pick 2, Estime, Vidal, DeMarcado, Ramondre. I am really conflicted with the Estime one because, like I said, he caught 3 passes last week. He's not a pass catcher. And Evan Hull, was drafted by the Colts to be a pass catcher. And so with a week of game planning and knowing now that who they have and that they don't have Devin Neal, I have to wonder if Evan Hull's a pass catcher. And then the other problem is Estime played only 4% more snaps than Hull played. And then with a week of game planning, do we see Taysom Hill get 7 carries? And that is firmly in play. So Estime is a huge, huge wild card. He could do well. He could score a touchdown. He could get 12 carries. He also could get 6 carries, 10 yards, and no touchdown. So Vidal, though, Dallas, if Quinnen Williams is playing, and let me see if I have an update on that, because that's the Quinnen Williams was the most important thing. And I don't Quinnen Williams inactive. So, that's huge. That's huge. So I think Vidal is live now because obviously he's going to get some of the work with Hampton. So Vidal is a playable here. Ramondre is interesting, but I think I think Vidal and Ramondre are the two I'll recommend because they're both going to get some work here. And I think Ramondre's matchup is better than it looks on paper against Baltimore. DeMercado, though, it's going to be tough because he only had 2 touches last week. But man, if he gets on the field, he's a big play machine. But I don't think you can. At this point, and they said Carter was the starter, so I think it's too risky. DeMercado, I think, has more upside than Vidal for sure. But the trust, he has a 0 as his floor. So Vidal and Ramondre. But if you're feeling frisky and you want to shoot for upside, I would go DeMercado, and I might put him in over Vidal for that one. I think Ramondre is going to get a decent base of touches here. Let's see if I have another super chat before I get to Big Lou. Nope, I'm caught up. All right. Let's see where Big Lou's question is. 2 wide receiver, 2 flex, full PPR. Harrison, Mitchell, Wandale, Ibuka, Derrick Henry, Coker, Estime, Hollywood Brown, Jordan Mason. So 2 receivers. I do think Wandale is going to continue to get his targets, and he's a solid PPR play, so we're going to roll with him. I think as a second one, I do think they are really, really trying to integrate Marvin Harrison, and they waited till he was healthy, so I would use him. And then you need 2 flex in the remaining group. I don't like A.D. Mitchell because of the quarterback. Ibuka is just caught up in a target swap. Derrick Henry should be fine here. New England is without Milton Williams, and their run defense has cratered since even and Robert Spillane's out too. And he's like their best tackler probably. So I'd go with Henry as a flex. And as a last flex, it really is tight between Coker, Hollywood Brown, and Mason. I think if you're shooting for upside, I think Hollywood Brown is going to be on a lot of intermediate routes. 2 tackles are down, but getting it out against those bad Tennessee corners, I think he's a live play. Coker had a really nice floor the last few weeks, and he definitely would be safer than Hollywood Brown. So I think Coker would be the safe play. Hollywood Brown would be your boom bust play there. Mason's interesting, but I think that your other players have a little more stable role. I do like Mason, though, to be honest, but not between those choices. Minnesota or Buffalo defense. I assume it always gets us in trouble that Buffalo gets a lead. And at that point, Shedeur Sanders holds the ball a long time. Wrong defense to hold the ball against. I think Buffalo has a great opportunity here to have a big game defensively, especially in the second half. Austin, PPR, pick 1 for flex. Pollard, Vidal, Hubbard, Fannin. All right, so you need 1 for the flex. It's going to be hard to sit Fannin because, like I said, Matt Milano you can't cover like you used to, and you can totally get tight end production. He's going to have a lot of dump off passes. He probably catches 8 passes there. Pollard is close. Again, Chiefs are down a couple frontline defenders. I don't expect Chris Jones to be playing, like he's playing for the Super Bowl here. Pollard's a great play. Fannin's a great play. I give Fannin the PPR edge, but if your gut says Pollard, definitely trust it because Pollard, even 3 games ago, 10 for 60 before the 2 big games. So Pollard could have a game here, and I would not be surprised for a second. So again, gut call on that. I give Fannin the PPR edge because I do think he catches a lot of passes, especially in garbage time. All right, let's see. I got to come back to Thomas after a super chat question. All right, let's see. All right. With London playing, when I play London or Ibuka or Godwin, again, I see London as I conservatively put him as my wide receiver 7. I think they waited till he was fully healthy. I don't think there's any limitations. I think they could have played last week, but they waited till he was healthy, and I just can't sign off on sitting Drake London. especially over the other options who are splitting a lot of work. Would I play Pitts or Kelsey? This one's tough. That's a good question. Pitts, like I said, right off the top, I assume that his targets are chopped from 10 to 5 because Drake London's there. Drake London and Bijan Robinson are their offense. Pitts is a distant third wheel who had to take over the second wheel and did great in that role for 3 weeks. Kelsey, however, what version do we get, right? He's playing. How motivated is he? I think he should get plenty of targets here because Gardner Minshew has 2 third-string left tackles playing, so they're going to have to get him the ball. Pitts has been on a heater. I think Kelsey is safer. I think Kelsey should have a decent game here. But if your gut says Pitts after 3 huge games, hard to sit him. But again, if you're going to play 2 Falcons and let's say they have a bad offensive day, which is in the realm, now you got 2 players that don't perform, and that could end up being a real problem in your fantasy matchup. So I would probably diversify and say London and Kelsey. All right, let's go to the live questions. All right, I got a Thomas question here. There we go. Sutton or Pickens? Great question. Great question. I have Pickens as the wide receiver 12 with downside, and I have Courtland Sutton as a wide receiver 11. Jacksonville has been better at covering receivers lately. Their pass rush has gotten better, but I do think that Denver's going to have to score some points here. I think Courtland Sutton's going to have to be part of their solution. As much as I put the downside tag on Pickens, I could see him going off here. I think Sutton's safer. So I'll tell you this way. If you want a safe, let's say 14-ish points, Sutton gets you there. I don't think Sutton gets you to 20. And even though I have the downside tag on Pickens, if you need a 20, Pickens is your best chance of getting there. But there's downside because if they decide to take deep shots, that is what the Chargers, they're good at sending safety help over the top. So I have Sutton with a slight edge for floor, but if you want upside, then I think you got to go the Pickens route if you want that big game because he could have that. I don't think Sutton goes off here, but he should be a solid game. Julian, Schultz or Juwan? Yeah, it's been a common question. It's a great question, too. I'm giving Schultz the slight edge only because, as I said, I've told a couple other people that when the Saints played the Bucs, they were leading. Shuck only threw 20 passes, and that meant the pie almost dried up for Juwan. Juwan didn't play many snaps in that game. When they get a lead, they put blocking tight ends in a little bit more, too. So I'm giving Schultz the slight edge for that reason. Trey's morning. Full PPR start too. Judkins, Hampkins, Tracy, Jones, or Michael Carter. So Tracy's had 3 good fantasy games in a row. Minnesota's defense is not very good against running backs. They have talent, but they're not a difficult matchup in any way. Tracy's been getting enough volume. I know that Singletary lurks, but Tracy's been playing well. Very hard to sit him right now. Michael Carter is a little bit of risk with him. He's a starter. DeMercado had 2 touches last week. If DeMercado gets an expanded role, that could change without notice. So I think Judkins is a little safer, and Judkins hasn't done much. But again, Buffalo's typical base is to not worry about the run and deal with the pass. Now, they could come in this game and say, you know what? This team's different. We're not worried about Sanders, and they might stack the box on Judkins. Hampton actually has a good matchup with Quinn and Williams out. That's a big deal. Aaron Jones has a good matchup. So you got some players with some really good matchups. I guess we rethink this. I think Tracy's in. And the more I look at it, I got to think Omarion Hampton, even in the timeshare, I think Omarion Hampton has to be the way with Quinn and Williams out because now they can get some interior game going they might not have gotten otherwise. All right. Next one, Dowdle or Higgins? Oh, the Colts ruled out left tackle Bernard Raymond. Oh, I'm sure Phillip Rivers loves to hear that. Since you asked, I'm going to assume you mean T. Higgins here because, I don't think you would ask Jaden Higgins. T. Higgins, if he's on the field, he's healthy. Miami's corners are terrible. This could be a huge game for them. Delroy, DK or Coker? Coker safer. And the Bucs haven't been Zion McCollum's down for the season, and their cornerback room has been kind of a mess. Coker has a safer floor. DK, McDuffie's out, corner for Chiefs. Chiefs might not be fully up for this game. DK is real upside. Coker has his base floor. Coker probably gets you 8 to 10 fantasy points. Coker safe. But if you need some upside, DK could be in line to have that game that we wanted to see from him. So Coker's safer. If you want to go for upside, go for DK. Sleek is next. Full PPR, Coker, Ibuka, or Estime. Well, you guys have heard me talk about Estime. Again, he only played 4% more snaps than Evan Hull last week. I don't think those catches are sticky. I do think we could see Taysom Hill involved. That brings between Coker and Ibuka. Ibuka is obviously the better player. Coker's had a very, very good run. In terms of rankings, I got Coker at 30 with upside, and I got Ibuka at 25. And I do stick to that. Ibuka is the safer play. I think Ibuka is going to probably get 5 catches in this game. Coker could have a game. Coker could get a couple, down the middle, long gainers. He could have a little more opportunity with the red zone. That's where Bryce Young, when he does throw touches, he does like Coker. So Coker's your upside play. They're close in the rankings, so I don't think you can go wrong with either one. But I think Ibuka's safer and Coker has a bit more upside. Andrews or Waller? Andrews has been maddening. Basically, he's touchdown or bust. Waller has the best possible matchup in the world. He's playing Cincinnati. I move Waller up to tight end 6. I don't see how Quinn Ewers can't find him because there's not going to be a pass rush. Not only is Trey Hendrickson done for the year, but Joseph Asai, their defensive end's out. So he should have plenty of time. And the middle of the field just doesn't get covered by the Bengals. So to me, and I put Mark Andrews out at tight end 17. So for me, it's pretty easy one. Brian Upton, good to see you. Monty or Shakir? Shakir's been tough to trust. He's had 2 good games in his last 5. The other 3 have been horrifically poor. And so that makes it very concerning. Montgomery does not get a lot of work, but he has scored touchdowns in recent games. And this game against Pittsburgh, I would think the Lions get a lead. The Pittsburgh run defense is not what it was in years past. I think Montgomery has a higher floor. I don't know how much Shakir is needed in this game against Cleveland. Cleveland has, in theory, a good enough pass defense. And I would give Montgomery a slight edge here. I think that Shakir would need a big play, and betting on that's a tough one. You see what we got here? Okay, good deal there. All right, good. All right. And we got Jeff up next. I'm assuming we Ted McMillan, not Jalen McMillan. Everybody, make sure you type in. I know it's obvious in a lot of cases, but make sure you type in first names unless, like, Pollard, there's no other Pollard in the league and it's not close, or Harvey. So Pollard, even 3 games ago, 10 for 60. I think the Chiefs are not going to be playing at a high level here. They're already down Chanel. They're down Noddy. I keep saying I don't think Chris Jones is going to be doing much in this game. I think he's going to just go through the motions. Pollard's in a great spot, and he's played 3 good games in a row. Harvey catches passes. Harvey's been very inefficient other than the Raiders game, but he finds touchdowns, 4 touchdowns in the last 3. Jaguars are not a good matchup for him. Can he get a touchdown? Yes. I like Pollard. And McMillan, the problem has been Coker. I think the last couple weeks, Coker has more targets, I think. Bryce Young loves Coker. We go back to last year with that. And McMillan, if he didn't get touchdowns like on his 1 or 2 catches in the last 3 games, did it twice, he wouldn't even have barely hit the 10 fantasy points he did. I'm going to go with Pollard. Poor Ted McMillan. He's got to deal with that as a quarterback. I feel terrible for him. I might have a super chat here. Hang on. I do. Shookson, Henderson, or Irving need upside. They both have upside. Bucky Irving may not be an efficient running back, but he's in a great offense for his skill set. Carolina is a bad defense. I have Irving as my running back 8 this week, which is higher than I usually have him. I have Henderson as my 12. Irving is more likely to see more touches than Henderson. Irving is more likely to see more targets than Henderson. It's never a guarantee. But I think Irving in this matchup has better upside than Henderson in his. All right, let's see what we got next here. And I got that one. I got Brian. Got that down in Delroy here. I think we're down in Delroy here. Okay. Full PPR. Pick one. Diggs, Coker, DK. Diggs has really been scuffling for fantasy production a few straight weeks. That's not good. Keon Coleman, another healthy scratch, not discipline related. Oops, bad season for him. All right. So again, Diggs has not been doing a whole lot, and the cornerback matchup against Baltimore is not great. And in fact, they didn't go to him when they have good matchups. That's telling. Coker has had a nice, solid floor. Again, he has a great connection with Bryce Young. Will be utilized. He's the floor play. DK, if you want to swing for possible upside, I do think against Kansas City with no McDuffie. I do think that DK has some upside. Coker's the safe play. I would be more inclined to play Coker because reaching on the DK upside, it's not like it's, oh, yeah, I'm definitely getting this upside. No, it's like, 1 in 7, I'm going to get the upside, and I don't know that that's worth it. And Diggs, again, just not getting it done, and hard to think and his snap share is limited too. Thomas needed running back, wide receiver 2, and a flex, half point. Sutton, Pickens, Ibuka, McConkey. So you need a wide receiver 2 and a flex. I am going with Sutton and Pickens here as your wide receiver 2 and your flex. And I'm going with Irving as the running back. If you're worried about Pickens, and I understand if you think that, he's sulking and you think that's going to be an issue, then simply put in Travion Henderson for Pickens and call it a day. Again, on paper, the matchup against the Chargers is bad. From a talent perspective, the Dallas receivers and quarterback have a massive advantage. But if you don't trust that, just go ahead and put Henderson in. McConkey should be in line for a decent game, but like 3 out of the last 4 20 or less yards, just could be there, but it's been scuffling. Pedro, winner on Jaden Higgins over Adonai Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell's always interesting, right? I mean, there's games he had a lot of targets and done nothing, and then he gets a big play on occasion. Brady Cook at quarterback is just really, really tough to trust. So that's a bit of a problem the way I frame it. So at least I think Jaden Higgins, he did have a 65-yard game with Stroud earlier in the year. And I think when this game's in question, the matchup is just so easy. I think there's going to be some opportunities to get him going. I think Higgins has a much better floor. Mitchell's just your boom bust. Hope he gets a big play and call it a day. I just, it's really tough to start a receiver with Brady Cook. Terminal sarcasm. All right, you got pick 2 PPR. Kimani Vidal, DeMercado, Darnell Washington, Gunnar Helm, Audric Estime, Ramondre Stevenson. With Quinnen Williams out, again, I think Vidal's a decent play. Hard to trust Darnell Washington. It's just he had been getting targets, but what does he always do with those? And I don't know how much they're going to go to him here. And DeMercado had 2 touches last week. So to recommend him would be a massive leap of faith. I think he should get more work, but that doesn't help us at all. Estime, like I said earlier, he played 4% more than Evan Hull last week. And I still think Taysom Hill could be a factor here. So he scares the daylights out of me. But Estimate and Stevenson should have a base floor, and Baltimore's not the run defense it was. Gunnar Helm's interesting because he's getting targets. And I do think that he could have some real use in this game. So all that said, pick 2 for the flex and PPR. I am inclined to give, man, you know what? I'd like to say Vidal, but you've got other good options here. I would go Ramondre because I do think he gets some good change of pace work here. And I would go at Helm because I do think he gets 6 targets here. Estime, if your gut says Estime, go with your gut because a lot of people love Estime this week. But if that's what your gut says, then go that route and play him over Ramondre. The confusion at times. I love it. Love it. Nah, we're all having fun here. I appreciate everybody being here. It means a lot that you take your time to hang with me. Happy holidays to you too. And Dollar Bill, you're very welcome. And everybody, good luck in your games. Hopefully you're ready to move on to the championship round next week. That would be great. Opinion on Marvin Harris. I know. You know what, Alex? It's funny because I was on XM with Alan Soslowski this morning, and we both laughed. It's like, how many times do we hear player's going to be eased in, and then he gets 10 catches, and it's like, oh, where was that? And then every once in a while, the player does get eased in, or like even Josh Jacobs last night. I think he had a setback. I was sorry because he had 12 carries and 2 targets. So it wasn't even like he's had games this year where that's been a normal workload. So I think it's just a joke. I don't believe when they say they're going to limit a player. I think that if the player in the game script kind of work where you don't need him, then you don't. I think Harrison takes on a normal role here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just always laugh when I hear that. If he's good enough to play, he's good enough to play, right? All right. Next question. Malik, good morning. You need 3. Sutton, JMO, Mike Wilson. Oh, man, you can't go wrong there. It's going to be really hard to sit Wilson with the heater he's been on. I know the last time he played with Harrison, they both saw 7 targets in the game. I still think that with Jacoby Brissett, Wilson's going to continue to get it done. It's really hard to sit him. Evans, oh my gosh, he didn't even play a lot of snaps, and he got like 12 targets. And Baker just looking his way. It's very impossible to sit him against Carolina. And JMO, other than now, it's been a few weeks since he had a bad game. Pittsburgh, they're down Watt, they're down Herbig, so the pass rush isn't going to be there. And Sutton is my wide receiver 11, but I got the other 3 ahead of him, and that's the way I would go with that. All right, next, forever student, Fannin or Darren Waller. I have Fannin at 4. I got Waller at 6. I think Fannin could catch 8 passes here. That wouldn't surprise me. Waller has the greatest matchup you could possibly ever have. Quinn Ewers, I don't think that's an issue because 2 is terrible. How much worse can Ewers be? No pass rush. Safe as Fannin. Waller doesn't play a ton of snaps. But man, if my season's on the line, I'll put it this way. If a high floor is good, then take Fannin. If you got to swing for upside, then I think you got to go at Waller for upside because any level of touchdowns, 2, it's on the board for Waller. Pitts or Kelsey? Good question. I think Pitts right away off the top. Those 10 targets a game without London go to 5 with London because London is their passing attack. And it's not like Pitts earned his way into taking away from London. London's their guy, and Bijan's their guy. And Kelsey, I think, with down to 3rd string tackles. Again, I don't know Kelsey's motivation. I don't know if it's going to be down here, but I do have to think Kelsey's going to be needed a lot, and Tennessee does not really have the horses to deal with him. I'd give Kelsey the edge if your gut says, Pitts, look, I don't want to turn you away from a guy that's won you a fantasy game last week, had 80-plus yards in 3 straight games. It's very hard to advise you away from that, but it did happen without London. And so that's trust your gut on it. Nancy, you forgot to ask about Lawrence, Brissett, or Kirk Cousins. All right. Well, listen, if you need 20 points for a quarterback, guess what? Jacoby Brissett has scored 22 or more points in all 9 games he started, and he has had some brutal matchups. He has not missed 22 in any game. That's why he's my quarterback, 2 of the remaining quarterbacks. And there is nothing scary about the Atlanta matchup. So that said, that's how many points you need. That's been his floor, Brissett's floor. So we're going to go with Jacoby Brissett there. Lawrence, I don't like the matchup. Kirk Cousins, anytime Kirk Cousins could turn into Kirk Cousins game, and that could be problematic. Warren, Pollard, Mason, Carter, and London for C. Faulkner. London always starts. Pollard, love him this week. Again, with the players out on defense for the Chiefs. Love him as well. Third one, tough one here. I love Mason's matchup. I think the Vikings play with a lead. If you think the Vikings are going to play with a lead as well, then certainly consider playing Mason. Carter is named the starter, though. And if DeMercado only gets the 2 touches he had last week, Carter could be in for a very good game here. And then Warren, it's funny. He loses a lot of high-value touches to his teammate, Kenny Gainwell, and it's very interesting. So I think at the end of the day, I'm going London. I'm going Pollard. I think, now it's for the last one. I think Michael Carter is the play for the one because until we see DeMercado, is back in the graces like a 1A or a 2, which he wasn't. If it's Carter's backfield and the coach said he's starting, I got to roll with that. All right, next one. Harlan, happy holidays to you. Half PPR, running back in a flex. Warren, Stevenson, Vidal, Estime, Addison, Mitchell. Addison has been at least decent most of the games with McCarthy, and there's nothing scary about the Giants matchup. So it's almost like you got to put him in because he's getting something done. Warren is probably my highest ranked of those remaining. I have him at 24. Stevenson at 30. Vidal lower than that. Now, Vidal does get a bump because Quinnen Williams is out, but again, Hampton should lead the backfield. Estime, you've heard me talk about if you like Estime, you play him. But again, I am not convinced. Evan Hull doesn't see more work. I'm not convinced Taysom Hill's not a part of this. I am very, very nervous about it. But if you believe in it, everybody out there, if you believe in Estime, you got to play him. I am very worried about him being just a guy in a backfield of just a bunch of guys. So all that said, running back in a flex, going with Addison, and I'm going to go with Warren here. I think even though Detroit is a good defense, their run defense isn't what it was in the past. And I think Warren could get enough done here for you. Good question there. Red next. Red C. Like Judkins or Carter. Yeah, and again, this is the tough one because I just talked about Carter. Carter's expected to be the lead, and that gives him an opportunity. Atlanta's defense, they're fast, but nothing that you got to worry about the passing attack there. So Carter should have some room. Judkins, the problem becomes whether Buffalo sticks with their identity, and their identity is don't deal with the run, deal with the pass. But why should they with Shedeur or Sanders? So if Buffalo says, well, Judkins is the only guy who can hurt us. Now they play him, and all of a sudden Judkins is in the same boat he's been in for much of the season. Defense just loading up to stop him and him having nowhere to run. So I give Carter a decent shot here, but you got Wandale in there as well. And with Wandale, it's interesting because Wandale has a floor every week, and with the blitzes that are coming from Brian Flores, Wandale's going to be a hot read there. So, and Wandale is a floor every week. But if Carter's a running back, I think Carter gets a real slight edge for floor. But I think if you need to shoot for an upside play, I almost going to think Wandale has the upside because he could do some damage, beating the blitz. Burrow or Dart? I have Burrow at 4, Dart at 6. I always worry that Dart won't finish a game. He's been in the medical tent so many times. So I just think you don't take the risk. And Burrow, Miami should be a cake matchup for him. All right, we got Robert. Good to see you, Robert. Running back 2, half PPR. Aaron Jones or Rico Dowdle? Good question. It's a tough one. Dowdle at 13. Tampa's run defense has really fallen off a cliff, and the blocking for Carolina has been very good all year for the run. Aaron Jones is in a good matchup here, but I also think Jordan Mason will be heavily involved, and so it's been a little more of a split. Like Dowdle is the lead back. If he starts out and played well, he will retain that role. So I'm going to give Rico Dowdle the edge there for you. Bro, Chacho, full PPR, need 1 for a flex. Jones, Marks, Jacoby Myers. Stubbornly, I have Myers as my wide receiver 16. I have no idea what Patrick Surtain is going to do in this one. Might play a side. I think that's the most common possibility. I don't see them going into the game planning and saying, you know what, we got to take out Jacoby Myers or we're not going to win this game. I don't see it. Maybe it happens. I like Myers here. Myers has been money. And Trevor Lawrence, where can he throw? The middle of the field. That's where he's good. And that connection's real. And they love him in the red zone. And Woody Marks isn't 100%. Like I said, Aaron Jones is splitting some work here. So there's that as well. All right, let's see what we got here next. All right. Joe, morning, half PPR. Suggest running back to start. Rico, RJ Harvey, Breece Hall, Estimate Carter. I would go Rico first, RJ Harvey for volume second, and Carter third. Flex one of the mentioned. I love DK this week. He has an advantage of corner. DJ Reed's 5'9". If they go at Rocky Sin, he's taller, but he's terrible. And the safeties are both out. Love Metcalf. I put Metcalf slightly ahead of Myers. Where I have Metcalf? I kind of rank Metcalf too low. I rank Metcalf at 18. I got to put the upside tag on him because he has real upside here. Myers has a more stable floor because we can count on him every week. But if you're looking for upside, for me, it's DK. But Myers does have a bankable floor. And then, so that's how I'd rank them. Mooney's not a question. I don't know which Allen we're talking about. Maybe there's only one Allen in the league, but I see the name Allen. My mind goes in a million places. And Coker's I don't think he's to the level of Myers. So that's how I'd answer that. All right, see what we got here. All right. Von, Michael Wilson, or Hampton, half PPR. Um, you know what? It's really hard to sit Michael Wilson right now. And I know Harrison's back. Hampton has a better matchup with no Quinnen Williams. I just think at this point, the chemistry between Wilson and his quarterback is real. And it's too tough to sit him right now over Hampton, who is good, but he splits work with Vidal. Hampton, Dowdle, or Hall. Nancy, I like Dowdle here. Again, the Tampa Bay defense has not been itself recently. They have been much more vulnerable on the ground, and that run blocking for Carolina has been very good all year. Breece Hall is the unfortunate reality of defenses that are selling out to stop him because they don't respect Brady Cook. Hampton, again, splits a little too much work. I like Dowdle a bit better here. Hampton is close, though. Hampton is really close. Where do I have in my rankings, actually? I have 13, 14. So it's a coin. It really is a coin flip between the two. I give Dowdle the coin flip, but if your gut says Hampton, it's so close that going that way makes perfect sense. Index of suspicion. Good luck. If I see you in the trench, I'll say no more. Well, thank you for that. It's always good to see you. Always good to see you. Shuck it. Oh, what the? Yeah. What the? Trip. Nice, Tyler Shuck. Barry, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Kind of needed that. Next one. Half PPR pick two. Harvey, Judkins, Marks, and Hampton. I am going with Harvey and Hampton here. Harvey gets incredible volume. It's been over 20 touches 2 weeks in a row. Even though he's inefficient against a good defense, that volume is king. Hampton, again, with no Quinn Williams in match, but Marks is dinged up. So I think they could maybe take it easy on him so they get a lead. Judkins always is in play, but I just am worried that Buffalo decides they don't have to worry about Sanders. If they load up to stop him, then that would be a real problem. And a lot of teams have done that. They've said Judkins is the only guy who could beat us, and they're actually right. Pollard or Warren. Shane, I got Pollard in this one. Run well for 3 weeks in a row. Because I've told people who've asked, Kansas City's down a couple defenders. I just don't think they get up for this game, and Pollard's been playing well. I think you roll with a hot hand there. Origami Harvest. Hey, who should you start? Receiver, flex, running back. Evans, Waddle, Higgins, Chase Brown, Irving. Wow, can't go wrong here. So for me, T. Higgins and Evans both should see incredible volume. Very hard to sit either of them. Chase Brown and Irving are my running back 7 and 8. And you'll see Evans is my wide receiver 8 and T. Higgins my wide receiver 6. So in that bucket, the only one I would sit is Waddle. He's the only one I wouldn't consider. But I think between Chase Brown and Irving feels safer, but Brown to me has more upside because defense has got to defend the pass against Cincinnati. And even though Miami's become a much better run defense, they can't really focus on it. So there's the two receivers for sure. If you want, if you want upside, might be Irving. I have Brown ranked higher. In my lineup, I'm starting Chase Brown, I'm starting Evans, and I'm starting Higgins. Those are the three I'm starting. If you want to go running back heavy, man, it's hard to tell you sit any of those receivers. It's really hard. If you had to sit one, it'd be Evans, but man, after 12 targets last week, really hard to sit him. I got a super chat, then I got to come back to, all right, 23. Okay. All right, super chat. Let's see what we got here. I got a couple of these queued up here. Oh, they came in a row. No wonder. Okay. All right, Jeff, PPR. We got James Koh in the house. James Koh, happy week 16.
Hey, great to see you, Jim. Sorry I'm running. I was just a little bit late today, man. I'm scrambling. Sorry about that.
Do you need a minute to settle in?
No. I'm good. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, sounds good. Well, we got a super chat. We got a few super chat, actually. Jeff wants to know half PPR. Jalen Warren, Audric Estime, Jalen Coker, Adonai Mitchell, Brian Thomas Jr. needs 1.5 PPR, James.
In a half PPR, I think I kind of want to roll the dice here with BTJ. He's been playing better football. The offense, to me, is running really, really well. And let me just try to chase a little bit of that offensive upside there with BTJ.
All right, next we'll go to Miami. We go full PPR. Need to DK Metcalf with the Lions down 2 safeties. Higgins against the Miami Dolphins and no corners, or Chris Olave against the New York Jets. Which one do you sit?
I mean, yeah, you've got 3 great options here, which is great. But I think if I'm picking, I feel like if I'm picking one, I might try to chase this T Higgins. I think he gives you the best upside in terms of touchdown upside here. It's the best offense, and as you mentioned, man, Miami's playing for nothing. It seems like they've completely given up on the season. I think Joe Burrow and the boys. I think they want to get last week's taste out of their mouth. A shutout for the Bengals. Who would have ever thought? You know what I mean? So I think T Higgins. I think T Higgins got pretty good touchdown upside this week.
And who do you sit? You got to sit one of those, Metcalf or Olave. Which one you sitting?
Oh, I got to sit one. Um. Oh my gosh. I like T
The only
Higgins.
thing I'll say, James, is when a few weeks ago when the Saints had a lead against the Bucks, they only threw 20 times. If that's going to be their
Yeah,
script against the Jets, that worries me.
I agree. Yeah, I think Metcalf might be, especially in a potential shootout there, right? Like 51 and a half is the over under on that game. It's the highest of the week.
Exactly. And then we got Jeff, 4 point for a passing touchdown. Bo Nix, Jacoby Brissett, or Nix again. So either way, we're going to get Nix in there twice. Which one do you
Knicks or
want, Nix or
Brissett?
Brissett?
Yeah, Knicks or Brissett. Oh man, I don't know, Jim. What do you think, man? Like it's almost
Brissett,
impossible to, yeah, because Brissett's
Brissett has 9
automatic.
games. He does not
Yeah,
have less than 22 points in
I
any
know.
game, and he's had some brutal matchups. Bo Nix has like 5 games under 18 points, and this
Yeah,
is a bad
yeah,
matchup.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I'm going Brissett there.
All right, we're at 10:23 on the time I got to find here for the question here, and let me see if I got that one. And there we go. It looks like we're in good shape here. All right, so Von Avery has Michael Carter or Jalen Coker, half PPR.
Um, I think I'm going Michael Carter. Look, I mean, Michael Carter. If you want that floor ceiling combination, and again, half PPR makes it a little bit less enticing for Coker as well. But yeah, give me Michael Carter. I think that one's pretty easy.
Yeah, like I was telling people, until we see DeMarcado actually get more work than the 2 or 3 touches he had last week, you can't assume that's changing. And the coach has said Carter is the lead, so hard to argue that, right?
I
Austin
agree.
wants to know how risky is it to play both Jacoby men. I guess that would mean Brissett and Myers. I don't see any risk in Jacoby Brissett. He hasn't been all year.
And Jacoby Myers is truly the number one in Jacksonville. He's helped unlock that offense totally. Yeah, I play both guys 100%.
Yeah. All right, next one we got for the people. Yes. Should I
Yeah.
start Aaron Rodgers or JJ McCarthy?
I think both of them are in great spots. They're both really interesting sleepers here for me this week. I trust Aaron Rodgers more, but there's no question J.J. McCarthy with his rushing upside gives you a better, higher ceiling, right? So it's really what are you chasing? I think Rodgers gives you the best floor in a high scoring game against Detroit, but McCarthy is in a really good matchup against the Giants and gives you the best ceiling.
You know, it's funny. Coach Kevin O'Connell wanted that same lineup decision back in May, Aaron Rodgers or JJ
That's
McCarthy, but
right.
Rodgers wouldn't sign there. Whoops.
That's right.
All right, index of suspicion. Houston was a great defense, and Brissett hold my beer. Okay, well, I don't know what that means, but Houston is a great defense. They're
Yeah.
not was a great defense, but
Arguably the best in the league.
I would not want to play him. I'll tell you that. Let's go one
No.
more, and then I'll get out of here. James, let you have some fun. For the people wants to know, should I start the Saints defense against the Jets or the Vikings against the New York Giants and Jackson Dart? The blue tent, Jackson blue tent Dart.
Yeah, no, I think for me it's definitely the Saints. Again, Brady Cook has a propensity to get sacked. He has a propensity to throw picks, and that's all you need in fantasy defenses. Yeah, give me the Saints there.
All right, James. Good luck to you and everybody out there in Week 16. Crush it. Want to see you back next week for your fantasy championships. James, have fun.
All right, man. Thanks again, Jim.
Thank
Jim is the best. I do appreciate him, and I apologize, guys. I'm running a little bit late here today. If I sound a little bit sick, under the weather, it's because I am. Just trying to struggle through it right now, but it's okay. Let's get it going. Tommy Ant, SOS, need one, Waddle, Coker, or Pittman. To me, I probably feel the best about Coker. My goodness gracious! Look, the thing with Miami is, and Waddle is the number one. But what does Quinn Ewers look like? Miami's team in general just looks like they've kind of sort of given up on the season, and Pittman as well. It's just man, I don't know. I just don't know if I want to play him against San Francisco. this week. So give me, I'll take Coker here. I'll take Coker against Tampa Bay's defense, which again has struggled a bit this week. Index of suspension. You mean those worthy questions were worthy of being answered? Boom, love it. Alex Vale. Dowdle needs one touchdown for 250K bonus, 113 scrimmage yards for 1 million. Wow, those are some serious bonuses on the line there. Jackson Dart or JJ McCarthy. I trust. Look, it's a terrible matchup for Jackson Dart, but I trust him more because of the rushing ability. And he's just a better football player right now than J.J. McCarthy. That being said, J.J. McCarthy has scored 3 touchdowns in back-to-back games. It's really hard. And by the way, the Giants' defense is atrocious. It's atrocious. Just go ahead and give me J.J. here. I don't feel great about it. Listen, I don't feel great about it, but I want to chase a little bit of that upside in the fantasy finals here. You know what I'm saying? So give me Jackson Dart, man. Let me make sure we answered all the super chats here. I think we did. Like 99% sure we did. Yes, Olave T. Higgins. Oh wait, actually no, we didn't. Did we? Okay, yeah, we got this one. PPR, Olave, T. Higgins, or London. Drake London, half-point PPR. PPR, Olave, T. Higgins, or London. Man. Here's the thing. I want to trust London. I do. And it's actually a good matchup, a decent matchup against Arizona. Let me pull this up for y'all, yeah? I'll give you a stat here. Against outside wide receivers, Arizona actually has limited them to the 11th fewest PPR points per game against outside wide receivers. That being said, London is just a target magnet. Who else are they going to throw to? He might get 15 targets in this game if he's good to go. And I think he's good to go. So, yeah, I think I want to say Drake London here. T. Higgins has the best upside because of the touchdown exposure. Of the 3, I probably go London, Higgins, Olave, man. Bogus Edits jumping in here with the super chat. Okay, you need advice, you're gonna get it. Full point PPR. Help me choose one tight end, one wide receiver, one flex. Jay Jettas. I think I'm playing Jay Jettas. You got Godwin, Evans. Don't want to play both, but I'm okay playing both. You got Kyle Pitts and Kittle. Give me Kittle in the tight end spot. Drake London is back. I think Kyle Pitts is going to take another back seat. Puka gave you a boost, so low risk picks maybe. Oh, yeah, dude. If you're playing Puka, this is great. Okay, so give me Kittle in the tight end spot for sure. Again, with Drake London back, Kyle Pitts, his target share goes down. Kittle is in a pretty, like I said, he's in a decent spot here. So give me Kittle in the tight end spot. And then you need one wide receiver, one flex. Okay, so I think I want to play. I definitely want to play Mike Evans. So give me Mike here. He just draws so much of the targets. You know what? Actually, before I do that, okay, so they're taking on Carolina. I have a sneaking suspicion that Carolina is actually a little bit of a target funnel to the slot. Yeah, I think they are. So, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, they are. They are. You know what? Go Godwin here. Okay, so we're gonna go Kittle, Godwin, and then I am gonna go Jettas. I know. Look, I know Justin Jefferson has done nothing with J.J. McCarthy underfold here, but he has gotten some clean looks, really close to breaking through. And I think this week he finally does break through. I know it's tough, man, but give me Jettas, Godwin, and Kittle. I'm in on that. Good luck to you, Bogus Edits. All right. Where are we at? We were right Okay, we got that one. Okay, we're right here. Almighty Kevin, Emeka, Tet, or Cortland? Um, for me, it's not Emeka. They've got all their weapons back. He's kind of sort of wide receiver 3 there. I kind of like Tet. I like Tet a lot. Look, I'll say this: Cortland Sutton for floor, Tet if you want a little bit of ceiling. But Denver's taking on Jacksonville. Jacksonville has given up production to the outside. I will lean Tet. You know what? No. Let me go back. Give me Cortland Sutton. Better quarterback, good matchup. I'll take that. I'll take that floor ceiling combination. I don't think does Ted have a higher ceiling than Cortland? Yeah, maybe nominally, but I'll take the floor ceiling combination of Cortland Sutton in that one. All right, here we go. Tim Burt, half point PPR, Stephon Diggs, Jordan Mason. Oh, Diggs, that one's easy, no question in my mind. Unless I'm missing something, yo. Is Aaron Jones? Is he out? No, he's not out, man. He's playing, right? Like, what are we talking about here? I'm like 90% sure, but I'm not 100, so let me just look this up so I don't completely screw this up. No, he's good to go, guys. I think. Like I said, I'd be surprised if he doesn't play. Yeah, so you give me Stephon Diggs pretty easily right there. Jeremy, which two should I start? Sutton, Tet, Dowdle. Give me Sutton and Tet. Full point PPR. I'll take Sutton and Tet, man. Okay, Quinnen Williams inactive. Ooh, God, that's huge. That's huge for the Chargers. Godwin or Coker? You're playing Evans. Coker is interesting. Here. I just like Godwin, though. I really like Godwin in this matchup, but if you're playing Evans already, and again, I just did that other question where I said I'm playing Godwin over Evans. So if I actually had to choose, maybe I go Godwin. Man, I'm not going to play Coker over Evans, though. You know what? Just give me Godwin and Evans. Screw it. Let's go. I think both those guys get activated. Why not? Jay Red, just wanted to come on the show, say thank you for the great advice this year. You're the GOAT. I lost last week because likely gave me 0 points. Oh, man. Jay Red, man, I'm bad. I feel bad about that, bro. I think this comment is actually directed towards Jim. He is the GOAT for sure. But I was out here telling everyone I love Likely. Playing Cincinnati, I love Likely. Yeah, I went out there and got you 0, man, which is brutal. Jay Red, PPR Waddle or Mike Evans? Yeah, not sure you could trust Waddle with frickin' Quinn Ewers of all people. Why is Quinn Ewers in the NFL? That's wild. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He's got a great matchup though against Cincinnati. So, I too will take Mike Evans here, but I tell you what, Waddle's got really interesting ceiling here against Cincinnati. So, you know what, man? I'm going to say Waddle. Here, J Red. You're in a 10-team PPR keeper. You want to win this week, get 6th seed next year's draft, or lose on purpose to get 5th seed. Oh. Interesting. Yeah, go Waddle. That's a weird one, though. That's a weird one. Usually it's like a lotto. Usually, isn't it lotto if you don't make the playoffs? I don't know. With London playing, would you play London or Ibuka? Yeah, I'm playing London for sure. Or Godwin. Yeah, London. Give me London of this group. With London in, would you play Pitts or Kelsey? Oh, my God. You got to play Kelsey with literally no one else on the football field and Gardner Minshew. Oh, man. Those are two tough decisions there. Yeah, man. Oh, God. I don't want to play London and Pitts. I'll go Kelsey. Yeah, give me Kelsey. It's not like Tennessee's defense is good, so give me Kelsey. And good luck to you, man. Nightmare. ETN or Wilson in the flex? ETN or Wilson? Am I tripping? Who am I thinking? Oh, Michael Wilson. Okay, Michael Wilson. ETN or Michael Wilson in the flex? Um, Why are we not playing ETN? Oh, because of the Denver matchup? Listen, I can't. I just can't get away from it. I mean, he's going to play 60, 70% of the snaps. It's fine. ETN's been great. Jacksonville's offense has been great. I know Denver's really, really good defensively, but I think I'm still going ETN here. Plus, with in Arizona with MHJ back, what does that end up looking like for Michael Wilson? Give me Travis Etienne right there. Okay, we got more super chats coming in. We got more of them coming in. Okay, Emmanuel Ocampo. Do you think Diggs' snap count will go up? I don't think it'll go up. I think it'll be about the same. If you would you play him over Tet? No. Is Tet bound to have a great game? Also, Derek or Rico? Derek Henry or Rico Dowdle? Yeah, I'm going Derek Henry. Do I think? I mean, listen, Tet's in a great spot, y'all. Tet is in an awesome spot. Against Tampa Bay, shoot. Tampa Bay has given up their bottom 12 in terms of fantasy points allowed to outside wide receivers. There's a lot of outside wide receivers that have put up big games against Tampa Bay. Last week, even David Sills got him for 14. Yeah, I like Tet this week. I think it's going to be, a relatively high scoring game. What does Vegas think on this here? They have this game set at 45.5, that's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It's not bad either. 45.5 is okay. So yeah, I think I like Tet. I like Tet this week. Do I play Tet over Diggs? I probably do. What's this New England Baltimore score? It's 48.5. New England estimated score of 22.75. Carolina with an estimated score of 21.25. So you're getting a little bit, just a tiny bit, a skosh more projected points here with New England if you want to go that route. But I'll take Tet. I'll take Tet right there. Rick Stark. You started Watson versus Puka. Oh, man, that's tough. I have Jawan Jennings plus Ladd. Y'all got to hit me with full names, man. There's too many guys here. Okay, you're playing Jennings plus Ladd, and you want to play Purdy. Okay, yeah, I like it. Why not? But you can also do the May Diggs stack. So Diggs or Emeka, Purdy or May. I am playing Purdy with the Colts down cornerbacks, and they're just not good at defending the pass. So I like Purdy. And yeah, you definitely want to play Jennings, 100% for sure. You've got Ladd in there, which is a little scary, but it's Dallas, so got to play him. And then do you want to go Diggs or Emeka? For me, I probably go Diggs. I'm going to go Diggs right there. What does Baltimore do in the slot? Baltimore in the slot gives up the freaking eighth most fantasy points per game. They've given up the tied for the fourth most touchdowns to wide receivers in the slot. So, yeah, great matchup for Diggs. Give me Diggs right there. Good luck to you, man. Good luck to everyone out there, by the way. Okay, 9:30. Hold on 1 second. Let me find my spot here. Up. All right, where are we at? Gotta go back. 10-team PPR. Okay, yeah, we got this one. Okay, so here we go. Okay, we got this one. Start one of Dan. Okay, hey, what's up, Daniel? Start one of Judkins, Harvey, Carter, or Jettas. Got to start one? Oh, my gosh. If I am starting one... This is tough. If I'm starting one, can I just say I almost want to play Judkins. God dang it. Look, it's tough, right? Because Judkins is not on a good offense. He's a 50-50 player, meaning he only plays 50% of the snaps, if that. But the matchup is so good. Buffalo's absolutely garbage on the ground, y'all. Okay, and then, obviously Denver is in a good matchup against Jacksonville, and oh, gosh, you know what? Just give me RJ Harvey. He's attached to the best offense. And the matchup against Jacksonville is not bad at all. So I will go I'll go Jacksonville right there. Or excuse me, I'll go RJ Harvey against Jacksonville. Yeah, let me look this up for you. Against running backs. Am I looking at this right, Jacksonville? Okay, here we go. Actually, they've been tough, huh? 3.75 yards per carry. That's the second best. But what do they do on the outside? Am I tripping here? Okay, Jacksonville against outside. Yeah, still really tough. Wow. Okay. Maybe that changes my mind here just a little bit. Do we go Judkins in a great matchup or Harvey in a bad matchup? Or do we just go with the old reliable who hasn't been reliable in Jettas? Do we chase that upside, y'all? Chat, do we chase this upside for Daniel? Oh, man. Okay, this one's got my brain in a pickle. I wish I had a better answer here for you. But honestly, my gut reaction is to play Judkins. Buffalo's defense is that bad. Their run defense is horrendous. I'm going to go Judkins with like 51% confidence. So not a lot of confidence, Daniel. I do apologize. You've got 4 interesting options here, but I'm going to go with a good player in a bad offense in a great matchup. God dang it. This all makes me just want to play Jettas, honestly. All of this just makes me want to play Jettas. Because you're going to get decent floor. He's going to get some target. And I know he's been a bust the last 2-3 weeks or whatever it is. But man, screw it. Give me Jettas. Give me Jetta. Give me Justin Jefferson. Great matchup, man. Like I said, I do think that J.J. McCarthy gets back on track with him this week. So, you know what? I'm just going to say Jettas. And I feel okay about it. Honestly, I do. Origami Harvest. What a screen name. Does Brissett have a safer floor than May right now? Trying to play it safe. Yeah, he does. But May's great. I have no problem playing May either. Baltimore's defense is not very good, and yeah, they're going to let it fly. If I'm playing between the two, I don't think you can go wrong either way. I'll take Brissett just with a slight edge over New England, slightly. So yeah, I think I go with Brissett. Chelsea, you're going to start Dart or Goff versus the Steelers. I'm going Goff. No question. By the way, excuse me, guys, I got to blow my nose real quick. I apologize. Like I said, I am under the weather, man. Not feeling great. Okay. Chelsea. I am 100% going to Goff here. Super high scoring game. And it's a easy matchup against the Steelers as well. Their defense is not very good. Full point PPR, you need 2 wide receiver and a flex. You need 2 wide receivers and a flex, so you need 3 guys in total, Chelsea. All right, here we go. Pickens got to play him. Wandale got to play him. Jacoby got to play him. I think we're done. 2 wide receivers and a flex. Okay, but you got Dowdle. You got McConkey. I don't care about Worthy. Worthy's a non-factor for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think that's your answer. Pickens, Wandale, and Jacoby. If you wanted to, first of all, let me just say I think Jacoby's a must start. I think Pickens is a must start. Wandale with JJ with Jackson Dart has been a must start. So I'm cool with it. If you wanted to take Wandale out and throw McConkey in, I'm down for that too. So Pickens, Jacoby, McConkey, but you know, offensive line has been bad, and they're going to try to run the ball here. So give me the three guys right there: Pickens, Wandale, Jacoby. Those are my three. Let's see here. Delroy, full point PPR start one. Tyler Shuck, Gardner Minshew, JJ McCarthy. If I'm picking one, I'm going to pick Tyler Shuck. I think he gives you decent floor. He's been really good too, guys. By the way, and the Jets are still without a turnover, or excuse me, an interception. So negative plays will be not on the table, really. Shuck has really taken care of the football pretty well, and he's had decent ceiling. So definitely not Gardner Minshew. Let me just say that. I mean, they got all these injuries on the offensive side. The offensive line is tough. Like, nah, man. If Gardner Minshew gets it done, he's the GOAT, man, honestly. But give me Tyler Shuck. JJ McCarthy is really, 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 really interesting, but also he's got a terrible floor. So it really comes down to what are you looking for here? I think Shuck gives you good floor, decent ceiling. JJ McCarthy gives you terrible floor, but great ceiling. Widest variance in terms of overall what we could be looking at there. Let me just make sure I'm good here. Did I already get this one, man? I didn't. Okay, James, let's go. Waddle, Worthy, Marks, Carter, Addison, estimate PPR. One wide receiver, two flexes, Dart or Shuck. Yeah, I'm gonna go Shuck over Dart, and one wide receiver, two flexes. I'm not playing Worthy, guys. Worthy's completely out. Is Marks even playing? Is Marks good? Do we know? I guess I got to go check this out. I wasn't even sure Marks is going to play. He had one limited practice. Do we have anything on Woody Marks here? I have no clue. It sounding like Woody Marks is not going to play today. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like it sounds like he's not gonna go. So let's take him out. So I'm not playing Worthy, I'm not playing Marks. I think you're set, right? So you got one and two flexes. So we got Waddle, Carter. Oh, okay, I see. And then Addison or Estimate. Okay, so we're going Waddle, Carter, 1-2 for sure. And then yeah, give me Addison. In full point PPR, give me Addison. Good matchup. And JJ randomly does have decent chemistry here with Addison as well. So this one's not too hard. Waddle, Carter, Addison. Estime is in a really good spot, but my one thing with Estime is that he's in a split with Evan Hull. So that gives me a little bit of pause right there. So, all right, let me go back to where I was. I don't totally remember where I was. Okay, we got this one. Full point PPR. Jake Ferguson, Waller, Kincaid. Kincaid's a little banged up, so I'm not really trusting that. Plus, he's splitting time there with Dawson Knox. So I will go Ferguson. Waller's in the best spot. Chelsea, if you want a ceiling, you got to go Waller. He's playing Cincinnati. Cincinnati stinks, man. But he also has Quinn Ewers, which makes everything a little bit wonky. I'll go Ferguson for safety. I wish I could pronounce your name. Raj. I can't do it, man. Full point PPR. I want to say it's Raj in Drakdar, but I'm probably wrong. My bad. Full point PPR. One of these: Quinshon Judkins, Adonai Mitchell, Addison, or Coker. Also Dart or McCarthy. The Dart or McCarthy question is so hard because Dart is the better player in a bad matchup against Minnesota. Minnesota has really bottled up young quarterbacks well. which gives me a lot of pause. McCarthy stinks, but he's been playing well the last 2 weeks in soft matchups. This is also another soft matchup. I might go McCarthy here. Full point PPR if I had to pick one. Quentin Johnston, Adonai, Addison. If I trust one the most, I trust Addison the most. And it's okay if you want to go this JJ McCarthy Addison stack. That's not bad. But I will say this: Quentin Johnston has the highest upside. Dallas's defense is horrendous, but Johnson just doesn't see that many targets. You know what I'm saying? So if you want upside, that's QJ. I think if you want floor, I think it's Addison. And then honestly, a little combination of both is Adonai. Adonai Mitchell gives you a little combination of both. So I'll leave it like that. If I absolutely had to pick one, I'm probably going Addison. Give me the Addison McCarthy stack, man. Have fun with that, and good luck, brother. Okay, let's go. Vaughn Avery, if Marks is out, would you rather take a shot on Chubb or Jordan in the Houston backfield? Oh, Jawar Jordan by a million miles. As a matter of fact, do I even have him in my lineup? No, I need to get him in my lineup. I've got Jawar Jordan somewhere. Where am I going? Dude, here's my lineup. I've got Quinshon Judkins, Breece Hall, Kamani Vidal, Tyrone Tracy. I got them in the 2 running back spots and my 2 flexes. Who do I take out, bro? Do I take out Tyrone Tracy? I want to play Kamani Vidal against Dallas with Quinn and Williams out, dude. I would definitely want to play Jawar Jordan. Listen, guys, Jawar Jordan is a top 12 play this week, period. If Woody Marks does not go, Jawar Jordan's a top 12 play. Do I take him out for Breece Hall against New Orleans in a tough matchup? I think I'm going to take out Tyrone Tracy. Giants against Minnesota. Yeah, I'll take him out. We're putting in Jawar Jordan over Tyrone Tracy, even though Tracy had a freaking awesome game last week. Awesome. I'm taking him out. Okay, maybe I take out Breece Hall. Do I take out Breece? Yeah, we take out Breece. Okay, we're putting in Jawar Jordan for Breece Hall. We're putting in Tyrone Tracy. Okay, so this is my running backs. Quinshon Judkins, Jawar Jordan, Kamani Vidal, Tyrone Tracy. I can't believe I'm sitting down Breece Hall, but he does have that knee injury too, so I'm a little bit worried. So you know what? We're gonna go with that decision and live with it. All right. Yeah, I'd much rather play. Listen, Jawar Jordan, like I said, man, top 12 play this week. If it sounds like what we're hearing here, which is Woody Marks is out. Key West homes for sale. Flex 1 point PPR, Emeka or Fanning. I am gonna go. Just give me Emeka Ibuka. Look, Fannin has been interesting. Fannin is interesting for sure, but again, the offense is just not as good. I'd much rather just chase the touchdown upside with Emeka Ibuka than Fannin. So let's go. T-Dot, PPR Gadsden or Ferguson? Oh, we got to go Gadsden here. Against Dallas? Yeah, we're going Gadsden. Melly Matrix, Quinshon Judkins, or Michael Carter versus Atlanta. First of all, I love the format of the question. Thank you. Full name with the matchup. Beautiful. I'm gonna go Quinshon here. Quinshon over Michael Carter. Buffalo can't stop the run, period. David Pillsbury. Quarterbacks in my current preferred order. Okay. Shuck, Brissett, Herbert. RotoWire has Brissett, Herbert, Shuck. Thoughts on New Orleans defense? On New Orleans' defense? Okay, wait. New Orleans' defense? Wait, why do you care about New Orleans' defense? I'm so confused. Maybe you're thinking New Orleans' offense? Look, I like Shuck. He's a sleeper for sure against the Jets. But Brissett's been automatic. And then Herbert's in such a beautiful spot against Dallas, which I think is why I would have them in that order too. Yeah, if I had to pick one guy, it might be, I actually might go Herbert and then Brissett and then Shuck. But listen, David, if you love Shuck, go with it, man. Go with it. You know what I'm saying? Um, but if I had to pick, I would go Herbert, Brissett, Shuck. That would be my thought. No Quinn and Williams. Dallas is already down all their top corners. How are they gonna? How are they? They're already bad. How are they going to disrupt the Chargers? I don't know. So again, that would be my order. Would be Herbert, Shuck, Brissett. But I do think that Brissett's probably the safest of the three. Brissett's the safest. He's been automatic, automatic. But I really like. I'm going to chase that Herbert upside if you need points. Austin Slaughter, what's up with you, brother? PPR pick 2 for flex. Pollard versus KC. Not the best, not great. Vidal versus Dallas. I'm playing Vidal myself, as I just said. Hubbard versus Tampa Bay. It's not bad. Fannin against Buffalo. Carter versus Atlanta. Pick 2 for the flex. Okay, if I'm picking 2, give me Vidal. And, oh my goodness gracious. Give me Vidal and give me. Atlanta's been tough against running backs. I'm not mistaken. I'm not tripping on those, right? Yeah, they've been somewhat tough here. Still bottom half of the league. It's not bad. They allow 100 rush yards per game. It's pretty good. 4.47 yards per carry. It's not bad. Give me Michael Carter. I'll take Michael Carter there. So I might go I might go Vidal and Michael Carter. I don't like Pollard. You could take him out. Hubbard. It's so hard, man. Is it Rico? Is it Hubbard? Is it Rico? Is it Chuba? Is it Chuba? Is it Rico? If it's a Hubbard game, I mean, I apologize, but I mean, it's just hard to get a grip on like who is actually leading that backfield, man. And then Fannin is interesting, but again, bad offense. I do like Fannin though. So, but if I had to pick, I'm going to go Vidal and Carter. Right there. We got 10 minutes to go. Let's see if I can get ripped through some of these. Addison, Worthy. I don't care about Worthy. Don't care about Hollywood Brown. Estime is interesting. Marks, I think, is injured. Pick 2 full point PPR. I think it's determined for you. I think we're going Addison, Estime, and then Dart or Shuck. Again, I'm going Shuck there. Minnesota has been really tough against young quarterbacks. So let's just see. Justin TV, London or Sutton. I'm going Sutton here. I don't have a great read on this one, but I might go Sutton here. But I think if you want a little bit more ceiling, give me London. I will lean Sutton against in a good matchup for Sutton against Jacksonville. I'll do it. Vaughn Avery, in combination with your answer about the Texans backfield, Chubb or Jordan. If London ends up being out, would you play one of them or Sills? I'm so confused. Look, I want to play Jordan. Are you saying play Jordan and Chubb? No, I'm not doing that. So Jordan, and by the way, I'm like so confident that London's playing. But now you're making me question it. Drake, London. I think it. Yeah. Yeah, he's expected to play. There you go. Yeah, I don't think that was in question, actually. Yeah, so we're playing. Let's play London. We're playing London and Jordan. Let's go. Fantasy Meatball, what's up, man? Good to see you. Merry Christmas, Jim and James. Okay. Yeah, hey, man, I appreciate that. Thank you, dude. Okay, George Mola, half PPR, 2 of 3 running backs. Javonte, got to play him. Irving or ETN? Give me. Ooh, man, I just said you have to play Javonte, and I think you do. I can't not play Javonte. Javante's been good. I can't not play him. I got to play him. Okay, so I'm playing Javonte, and then I think I want to play Bucky Irving. ETN's got a tough matchup against Denver, but he is like the go-to guy. And Bucky Irving is against Carolina. Carolina against running backs. Let me look it up for you. Carolina against running backs has been atrocious. Yep, they've been bad. Bottom 10 in points allowed per game to the running back position, 4.81 yards per carry. That's a bottom 4 number. Bottom 3 in yards before contact. Bottom 10 in explosive run rate allowed. Yeah, go ahead and give me Bucky Irving. So Javonte and Bucky Irving. I wish I could find a way to play ETN too. Papa Greco! What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Olave versus the Jets. London versus Arizona. Non-PPR Dinosaur League. Let's go. If I'm picking one right there, give me London. Feel good about that. Estime versus the Jets or Kareem Hunt. No, we're taking Kareem Hunt out. Estime. Give me Estime. Versus the Jets. Full point PPR in that one. Give me Estime. Give me Drake London. That one's actually not too hard for me. Okay. Miami 512. What's up, bro? Full PPR, you need 2 Metcalf, T. Higgins. Oh, we already got this one. My bad. Austin Slaughter. What's a sleeper pickup off waivers for next week? I mean, if Jawar Jordan's available, go pick him up. I would say that. Fantasy Meatball, Dowdle or Travis Etienne in PPR? Dowdle or Travis Etienne? I think I am going to go. I'm going to go Travis Etienne here. Bad matchup, but he's going to get so much of the work with Bashal Tootin out. I'll go that route. Fantasy Meatball, you need wide receiver 3 and 2 flex spots. Wandale, London. I'm playing London. Henry, Dowdle, and Pitts. We could take Pitts out. We're playing Wandale, so we've got 2. I need one more. Yeah, give me Derrick Henry. That's 3. Wandale, London, Henry. That's your pick. Okay, where am I at? Here we go. Got a super chat. Lexi, start Dak or Stroud? I am almost never going to not play Dak. Stroud has been interesting, dude, but again, oh man, he's playing Las Vegas though. Las Vegas is so bad. Las Vegas is so bad, dog. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Let me pull up some stats here. Las Vegas is so bad. But Houston, I think, is going to run this rock. I think they're going to run. Give me Dak, I think, in a more competitive game. Their defense is down a bunch of players, so I think the Chargers will be able to put up some points. So maybe Dak will be forced to chase a little bit more than Stroud. And plus, Stroud playing for Houston, they want to run, right? So I will say Dak. Give me Dak right there. Good luck, too, by the way. Okay, where are we at with these questions, bruh? We're almost there. Okay, Tony C. Full point PPR. Yep, Tony C. Tyrone Tracy, Aaron Jones, Pitts. Give me Tyrone Tracy. Why not, man? He blew up. He played dang near 70% of the snaps last week. That's insane. Full point PPR. Give me Tyrone Tracy. I'm just not that interested in Pitts. With London back, I'm just not that interested, man. That would just be my thought. ETW burn for the chip. This is for the championship? Oh, to get into the championship. Yeah, I got you. Bowers or Pitts? Yeah, we're going Bowers, 100%. And then Burrow or May? I think I'm going May here. I think Burrow's going to have revenge on his mind, but the vibes are just so off in Cincinnati, man. Like, I don't know what's going on. Drake May might be in a little bit more of a competitive spot, too. Yeah, give me Drake May. I'll take Drake May. Give me Bowers for sure over Pitts, and then give me Drake May. Acrazia. Acrazia? I don't know. I like it. Flex and pick one running back. Full point PPR. Olave, Marvin Harrison, Jefferson, Michael Carter, Rico Evans, Henderson. Dude, bro, what? You got a lot of guys out here. Okay, so give me Michael Carter for your running back, and then now I need to pick one flex, I guess. Yeah, one flex in full point PPR. I'll take Travion Henderson. Why not? Give me Michael Carter, Travion Henderson. All right, let's go. Nathan Diebler. Marv or Huge J? I think we're talking about Quentin Johnston, yeah? Give me, man. I want to say, I think Marv is much safer than Quentin Johnston, but I want to chase that Dallas upside, man. Quentin Johnston. Give it to me. Jordan Arhart. Good morning to you, pal. Kyle Patton. Half PPR. Pick one. Oh, my God. I can't believe we're up on it here. Pick one running back. Travion Henderson. Yeah, we're playing Travion Henderson. Yep. Need a high ceiling player? Yep. There you go. Travion Henderson. Good luck to you, buddy. Papa Greco. Marvin Harrison against Atlanta or Brian Thomas Jr. against Denver? Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison, man. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's go. Let's play that game here. Ruben, T or Sutton. Also Woody or Brees. Woody's out. Play Brees. T or Sutton. Give me Sutton. How about those Seahawks? Yep. Jalen Warren or Woody Marks. He's out. Woody Marks is not looking like he's going to play. Jalen Warren or Estime. Give me Jalen Warren. Yep, Jalen Warren for sure. Emmanuel Ocampo. Josh Jacobs went up against Caleb Jason and more. Ooh, yikes. Yeah, that's tough. Adventures from the Q. Full point PPR. Flex. BTJ Ladd or Aaron Jones. Give me BTJ right here. No. Sorry. Give me Ladd against Dallas. No question in my mind. Give me Ladd against Dallas. Ska. Need to. ETN. Travion Henderson. Waddle. Justin Jefferson Judkins. If you need two, give me the first two. Give me Travion Henderson for sure. And give me half point PPR, man. I'm going to go ETN. I'm tempted by Judkins, but give me ETN right there. Yang. Kittle at tight end. Pitts, Hampton, or Tet at the flex. Give me Hampton. Go Hampton right there. Matthew. Emeka Ibuka or Jacoby Myers. Give me Jacoby, baby. Jacoby's a must start. Got to play him every week. Spencer Haynes. Does nobody think MHJ will do better than Michael Wilson? I do. Oh, I think he will. I think he will too. 100%. Luke Bronstein, pick two. Jennings, London, Olave. Give me London for sure, and then give me Jennings. Give me the first two. Luke, don't spam the chat, bro. Come on now. Yeah, chill, bro. Oh, my God. Patrick. Makes me not want to answer your question next time, dog. Patrick, which kicker? Dude, come on. Kicker question, dog. Cam Little. Knocks down 60-yarders. Cam Little. All right, we're there. Sorry, guys. Half point PPR, Rico or Quinshawn? I like Quinshawn better than Rico. I'll tell you that. Drop estimate for Jawar? Yes. I love Jawar. Estimate's in a timeshare. PPR, Ladd or Jalen Warren? Ladd against Dallas. Tyreek, pick one standard. Ladd, Pollard, Estime. Ladd. Fannin or Waller? Give me that Waller upside. But I like Fannin a lot too. So, Ladd. If it's my team, I'm playing Waller, but honestly, safest pick is Fannin. Emeka, Kelsey, Fannin Jr., pick two. I'm playing Emeka, and I'm playing Kelsey. Somebody's got to get that rock in Kansas City. Godwin, Coker, Higgins. I'm going Higgins there. Yeah, going Higgins right there. Good luck to you, Salvatore. Flowers or Mike Evans? Flowers. I like the potential ping pong matchup against New England. I think they're both going to score a lot of points. PPR, Ladd or Jalen Warren? Give me Ladd. Goff or Allen? Really? I'm playing Allen. Or Purdy. I don't care what the matchups is. I'm playing Allen. Let's get it. Half PPR, T-Law, Purdy, or Shuck. I like Purdy there. BTJ, MHJ, or Adonai Mitchell or Booty. So far, I have Purdy, Myers, and Mitchell in. Well, good luck to you, man. I probably play BTJ over Mitchell, but I think I play MHJ over both of them, to be honest with you. Sit one, full PPR, Judkins, Hampton, Tracy, Michael Carter. If I had to sit one, Probably sitting. I probably sit. Um. Oh my God. I guess I sit Michael Carter. Oh my goodness gracious. Nick Stroud or T Law. If I'm picking one, I am going. Picking one. Probably go T Law right there, man. Lad or Jalen with 8,000 on the line. Wow. What a league. I love your league. Again, I'm going Lad. All right, that's it, man. Okay, listen, we're up against it. Dude, I know I say this every week, man. I do apologize. I wish I got to more of these questions, bro. I do. It really it hurts me sometimes, man. But again, feeling a little under the weather. I apologize getting a late start on this bad boy. Good luck to everyone out there, honestly. Semifinals, so stressful. Let's get it going. Hope you guys get into the championship. But again, we'll be here, same bat time, same bat channel next week, man. But I do appreciate everyone out there. Happy holidays, and we'll get it going next week, man. All right, peace. See you guys.